They can.
What is it you're drinking?
This is the Jason Stevens 2014 Persing Vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's cherry pie.
Is that good, sweetie? You want more? All right.
It's been a long day. Give me more.
You want a Harvey Solomon?
Oh, maybe I should open this Chateauneuf de Pop.
Yeah, dude.
Pap.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are going all high class. Wait till you see what I'm drinking tonight.
Was it something you found in your new place?
How many colons?
No. I got. Oh.
Show us.
No, I'm waiting.
I think I got the re-pour in. Is it supposed to feel all like...
Wait, are you recorking a screw top?
No. I don't know. Like I've never used one of these before, and I heard people say it feels kind of like suctiony or whatever, but I think it's like after it's been sitting for a while.
Yeah, the whatever the silica beads have to absorb some of the oxygen to create a vacuum.
Okay. Now you tell me.
Oh, I've had that beer before. I know what that label is. I just can't place it. I think
I need some water. I'll be right back. All right, guys, quit fucking around. Let's do this.
Well, you're the one who was taking a poop.
Nah, I was getting water. Come on.
Uh
From the toilet.
huh.
That's neither clever nor. Oh. Did you find this?
No, I have not received it yet.
Okay. So maybe it is yours.
I'll email him.
Or maybe it's John's. We'll figure
Well,
it out.
I'll probably email him.
We'll have to share it.
I'll just have to email and say, "Hey, man, I never received my my award. What's up?"
I kind of like how I hold 2 right now.
It
is my show.
It's not like the Stanley. It's not like it is like the Stanley Cup. There's like the celebratory Stanley Cup and the real Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah, man. Well, we could. The other one could be the other one could be the fantasy football trophy.
Apparently, it's a heavy pour kind of night. Whew. All right. Jesus Christ, are you guys fucking ready yet?
I was ready an hour ago.
Ready? I am always ready. I have been ready since first call. Roll.
All right. Test from my side. All right, guys, drop me a beat.
A little bit more with feeling. Yeah, I'd like to, but how can I when they're just so late on their cues? Just wait a goddamn second. Sorry.
The bubbles are rising nicely in my beer.
Okay, what's not working? Oh, this isn't working. Oh, yeah, I gotta do this part.
I like this whole podcast in my pajamas thing now. Like I'm feeling very,
It's pretty awesome, isn't it?
very loose. I didn't know that was possible.
Loose and free. All right, and you guys did not hear the record scratch, correct?
Correct.
No.
All right.
I miss our sound effects.
Yep. I think I need another. I need maybe one more month of income, and I can kind of get what we need and work a whole lot better.
External board.
Yep, external. I need an external board.
A little guitar, just like strapped real high.
Yep.
Dedicate keys. Let's go.
A couple cables, a USB converter, and a new microphone.
That's it.
That's it. Like $120 or something like that. All right. Here we go. And thank you for joining us for the We Like Drinking Show, episode 157. In this episode, we'll be discussing minding your drinking, complainerson, and the big system fires up. So crack open your beer, uncork that wine, and let's get drinking. Yes, 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 ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the award-winning We Like Drinking podcast.
Man, you have me at complainerson.
I figured as much. It's it's all about you tonight, Jeff.
No, this is a prime episode.
Oh, it is. Isn't
Oh
it?
yeah, I thought you were going to
What-
say because
what-
something was happening, but you're actually talking about a prime number. You nerd.
Well, 1, 5, and 7. Yeah.
Oh, all right, drinkers. You can already see. You can see it in your ear holes what kind of episode it's going to be tonight. We're going to get down with some funky get down and down in the downtown.
Cut. Start over.
But what? But before we get to that, I want to take a quick minute. Quick. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just start over. No,
I like.
No.
Keep going.
I wanna-
Come on.
I want to take a quick minute, listeners, to ask, plead with you to get out your phone, find the subscribe button and mash it. Then hit up the iTunes, the Apple Podcast app. Give us a big fat 5. While you're mashing things, mash a big fat 5-star review with your thumb, and then, type a little verbiage to us. John, if you could, because I know you haven't, if you could write a review of the We Like Drinking podcast, what would it say? First, how many stars would you give it?
Oh, 4.99999.
Okay, good. And what would your review say?
My review would say it's the most fun you could possibly have driving home from work on a Friday.
There you have it.
Yeah.
That's very well said, John. You're surprising us there. Okay. All right. So
hey,
now,
Eccles,
what?
stop
What?
listening to the show. Stop listening to the show.
I haven't listened in like 5 weeks. So what's been going on? Anything?
Nothing much.
So there's a couple guys on here. We're talking about Montepulciano last week.
Did they wreck it?
I think their descriptions of it were completely off base, but but that's just me.
Idiots. Okay. Also, as we like to do at the beginning of the show, guys, can you see what this awesome wine glassing I'm drinking out of says?
It says wine 2.5. I think I see Val and Steph.
Yeah, you see Val and Steph, and I'm drinking out of this awesome glass with a little thumb notch in it so I don't drop it. A big thank you to Stephanie from the Wine 2.5 podcast, who is one of the awesome members of our Patreon club. She gives us a little bit of the scratch every month just to make this show, this top-notch, top-flight show, just a wee bit better. You know what I'm saying, guys?
Yeah. What's in that glass? Looked like a Cali mixed dough, or you said it was Chateauneuf de Pop.
No, it's something else. I've changed my mind 7 times.
Okay.
But it must have something wrong with it because I see 2 Jeff Solomons. It's kind of freaking me out.
Does
So
he
yes,
have a beard or not, bro?
one has a beard and one doesn't. It's I don't know what's happened. So Stephanie, you've been with us for a while. You've been with us from the beginning in many ways. But a huge thank you and shout out to you for being a Patreon of the show and helping us out in our little membership. And I didn't wear it tonight, but they sent me a kick-ass Wine 2.5 t-shirt too. It was a Christmas present. It's pretty freaking rad, I gotta say. So thank you to the ladies at the Wine TWO 5. Anything else, guys?
Well, one of the Solomons left, so I think we still have the one with the beard.
Is it the
What?
one that's working or the one
Maybe-
that's not? No, he's all locked up. John goes to Costa Rica and Solomon's internet goes to crap. All right. So, listeners, you're probably just hearing my voice mostly and wondering who else is drinking with us tonight. We may or may not have our wine blogger, Jeff Solomon. We do have our Costa Rican beer brewer, John Ruyak. And this guy is your host. My name is Jeff. The other Jeff. No, the main Jeff. Something like that.
You're the main Jeff.
And
Look
how you
at
doing
your
tonight,
driver's license. I'm doing all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, we are super low on beer because like last month was our biggest sales month ever.
Oh, nice.
so
Congratulations, dude.
Yeah. Thanks.
Wait, that happened the
I-
month
I-
that you
I
weren't
was-
brewing.
Exactly. I wasn't here at all, so that's awesome. But so I went to the store and I picked up 2 beers from Costa Rica. One's called a Galina de Palo, which means, I think it means dead pigeon.
Excellent. That sounds delicious.
So I'm drinking a dead pigeon summer ale. And then to back it up, I've got a session IPA called Burro en la Lancha, which means donkey in a boat.
Oh, dude, that sounds fantastic. I like what you're
So-
going there. How are they?
Yeah,
How many colones did they cost you?
These weren't bad. They're, the craft beer here for 12 ounces is about 1,700. So yeah, $3
For
Something like
for a 6-pack or for a bottle?
for a bottle. $3 for a bottle. So that's well, I mean, among other reasons, that's why I drink a lot of my own beer. Anyway, because it's free.
Right.
But yeah, when I left right before Thanksgiving, I had 11 fermenters full of beer and 46 kegs when I got back, and they've been brewing nonstop. There's like 11 kegs in the walk-in. It's insane.
Oh, wow.
We can't make it fast enough. So thank you, people in Costa Rica, for drinking Angry Goats beer like it.
That's awesome, man. Good problem to have. Jeff Solomon, what you drinking tonight?
Hello, am I here? I don't even know. We were talking about resolutions last week, and I change my mind about resolutions all the time, but I'm making a resolution this year. This year, I'm going to drink more wines on the show from the Santa Clara Valley, because gosh darn it, we still ain't getting no love. You were talking about Wine 25 earlier, and I'm a member of the Wine 25 community, and people are talking about like, hey, I'm going on this road trip through California. I think I'm going to start in Monterey and move my way down to Santa Barbara. And it's like, dude, you are like minutes away from the Santa Clara Valley. You're moments away from the Santa Cruz Mountains. Like, come on, give me some local love. So anyways, I'm going to start doing more of that. So what I have right here is from Jason Stevens. I think, I've had some of their wine on the show before, and I think we talked about how their labels have changed a little bit. They still have
I
that.
was just gonna say that that's their new label, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's very clean. This is their 2014 Persing Vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon. So you're going to start seeing more and more as the winery is actually expanding. You're going to see more and more single vineyards that they're highlighting. Persing Vineyard, from what I gather, is about a 2-mile jog from where I live. So I'm excited to get into this. I did also want to mention that if you look at the top of this bottle, I've got a stopper that's kind of familiar to some of you folks. This is the re-pour. So when I was pouring a tiny glass of wine for myself before the show and a humongous glass of wine for my wife, what I also did was peel the little foil off the bottom of this re-pour. They've got their proprietary blend of herbs and spices. I've now put this re-pour on the bottle. It's going to suck all the oxygen out, and it is, from what I've heard from them and from you, Jeff, it's going to keep this wine much more fresh. And then, I was just doing it because I've had this sample for a while, but you were telling me, Jeff, that in the coming weeks, we're going to have some folks from Report come on.
Yeah, 3 weeks from tonight, January 31st, the CEO and founder of Report, Tom Lutz, is going to be on the show. So it'll be a good time to break that bad boy out, and we'll see how my 3-month experiment is gone.
I had to tell Kara, I'm like, so I got this special top here, and I want to test this out. So you can't have any more of this wine that I just opened in front of you. And she's like, what the hell, Jeff? So anyways, the wine itself, by the way, beautifully dark. I poured myself a Harvey Solomon, so it's really tough to tell.
Yeah, I was gonna say you did not go light on that pour.
Well, I knew I only got to have one glass tonight. But, on the nose, there's this beautiful, like, brambly, blackberry, raspberry type of thing. There's some plum on the nose, some cassis, very just classic California Cabernet Sauvignon. You can kind of sense like the a little bit of the tannic structure on the nose. I'm excited to take a little sip here and. Plummy, raspberry-y, little bit of red currant there, which is different from cassis, which is black currant. I know my fruits, and there are some nice chalky tannins there. This is awesome. This wine is like, I want to say maybe $30, and well worth a stop as you're driving through Gilroy. We have more than garlic wine. You just got to look for it.
There you go. I was in Gilroy. I don't think I tasted any Gilroy wine while I was there, but I did taste some Coors Banquet beer warm to a nice, like, 82 degrees or something like that.
At least, hey, Eccles, at least you didn't taste it twice.
Hey, man, if you want to taste Gilroy, no joke, if you want to taste Gilroy and you've got garlic in your house, probably came from here, and take a whiff, you're smelling what I smell every day. You smell like me now, basically.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm drinking a wine tonight too. I'm just gonna put it up to the camera because I don't even want to try and say the name of this one because I'll just butcher it. No, I'm just playing. I am drinking the Sant'Agostino. This is a Sicilian red wine, 2011. A Wine Spectator top 100 worldwide. Robert Parker, 90 points. And Gambaro Rosso gave it 3 glasses. Whatever the hell that means.
On his patented scale of 1 to 7.5 glasses.
I believe so. 7 3/4. So
that's just like 4.999999 stars.
Right, man. Exactly. So speaking of resolutions, Jeff, I want to start bringing you guys a little bit more of the notes that I get from this Gary V Wine Club that I am a member of. This was in the latest shipment that came through. A Sicilian wine, check this out. A Nero d'Avola and Syrah blend. Whoa. Of all things, right? This is
so Nero d'Avola and Syrah d'Avola.
Yeah, exactly. And this runs just like $23. Nice. Retail. Oh man. Ooh, it's like fruity with some tannins and there's a nice meatiness to it and some good fruit. Oh, this is tasty. Nicely done. All right. We spent way too much time on the intros. It must have been a while, or at least felt like it's been a while since we hung out. So let's get into the rest of the show, guys. Welcome to it. Let's get our brain on with grape, hop, or pop culture reference. This is where I give these guys a term and they try to tell me if it's a wine grape, a beer hop, or the last name of a buddy of mine.
Hey man, Dave will tell you he's world famous.
Okay.
Come on, his brother played guitar for Fury 66. That's got to count for something, right? Okay.
Yeah, it does. Okay. The term this week is Ada Carasa. So is Ada Carasa a wine grape, a beer hop, or a pop culture reference? Jeff Solomon.
Will you spell that for me, please?
ADAKARAS. Here's the twist. I.
It's one word.
I've seen it both ways.
You've seen it as
I've
Ada, and then
I've seen it as Ada space Carasa, and I've seen it all one word.
and it's ADAKARASI.
Yes.
Ada Carasa.
They really blew it. I mean, if you're going with that many A's, if you're alternating A's the whole way through, why not just throw an A in there for the last letter?
Yeah. Well, the way you're saying it, it sounds like there is one there.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna, Ada Carasi. I'm gonna say that this is it's a grape. It's an Italian grape indigenous to the Abruzzo region.
Okay. John Ruyak.
Oh, it sounds a lot like Bella Caroli, who was a gymnastics coach. But no, I'm going to go with the grape, but it's from Sicily.
All right. It's actually my neighbor. No, I'm just kidding. Ada Carasa is a wine grape. Very well done, guys. It hails from Turkey. It is a Turkish wine grape. Generally I like to take a lot of that information and write it down so I can share it with you guys, but I totally forgot to do that this week. So that was grape, hop, or pop culture reference. Nicely done, guys.
Wines of Turkey. You should have used that on the Thanksgiving episode. Okay.
Well, maybe we can have some with some roasted dead pigeon.
Oh my God. I'm kind of glad I conked out and didn't get to see what you were drinking.
Oh, I got a dead pigeon beer and a donkey and a boat beer.
Oh my God. That sounds amazing.
It does sound. That's what I said too. It sounds amazing. All right.
That's a funky old world beer you got there.
Man, it's been a while. It must have been a bunch of slow news cycles because this is the first time like in 3 weeks we're going to have booze news. We discuss interesting, noteworthy, or, sometimes some stupidity. Jeff Solomon.
Yeah. Hey, again, new year, people are making resolutions, and I felt compelled to open up this article. I don't know where I even first got wind of it. It was published by Time Magazine, and I don't know when's the last time I picked up one of those things. It was a whole expose on mindful drinking.
Okay.
Mindful drinking.
Is that like don't drink tequila and get in bar fights?
Well, honestly, when I hear mindfulness, I as an educator, like that's such like an educator type of buzzword, but I would also imagine that, if I were working in the corporate world or whatever, that maybe you've had, you have one meeting a year about mindfulness. Have any of you ever experienced any stuff like that?
Every year.
All right. Well, so when I was thinking about it in my head, the idea of mindful drinking actually sounds pretty awesome. Like without reading it, I was thinking like, oh, that's kind of like what we do on the podcast. Like last week, episode 156, when we were talking about Montepulciano di Abruzzo, you can't get more mindful than that in terms of really getting into the smells and the looks and the flavors and the experiences of the things that you're drinking. And lo and behold, I start reading this thing. And apparently it's about the new craze where people are trying to back away from drinking so much. And
Wait, what?
yeah, I know it's weird. I didn't even know that was possible. But it turned into this very like New Year's resolution type of article. So it started off following this person that was going to like this group function. Like I guess there's functions popping up and becoming very, very popular all over these United States of America, where it's like, hey, we're a bunch of adults. Let's get together and have some sober fun. And those are becoming very, very popular. They're spending quite a bit of time. I know Jeff's like, the reason why y'all need to watch these videos is because Jeff is just like wrinkling his eyebrows. John is like curling up in a ball, like sweating buckets right now. They were talking about how, especially in the last decade, you're seeing more and more people doing dry Januaries. Again, I don't know these people. But and they were talking about, not necessarily like people trying to quit drinking, but considering that there's more out there than just the experiences that we have when we are inebriated. And they did mention that there are classes that people go to, which was what I was envisioning, where they teach people how to be mindful of the beverage that is in their hand. And in turn, they're, as a consequence of it, without even trying, they're not really going to drink as much. And I don't know. It's just kind of to me.
Can you explain that one a little bit? Like they're saying, be more aware of what you're drinking, or being more mindful of how much alcohol you're holding.
So being aware,
B.
be an experience and be everything at once. Honestly,
okay, so be at one with your drink.
Be at one with everything. So it's kind of like
okay.
Wait, I've got to open another one.
Yeah, John, what were you saying?
Be quiet. I'm opening another beer.
Oh, okay. So the sense that I got from the class that people were taking on mindful drinking is really, if it weren't for the fact that we're not going to bullshit you, like any of us on the show could have run that course and been like, let's talk about these flavors and stuff like that. I will say, like, I do like the idea of, one of the reasons why I enjoy wine so much and craft beer so much is like, I'm not really interested. Sorry, I'm very interesting. I'm not very interested in drinking to get drunk. I'm not really interested in pouring a glass of something that tastes disgusting to me and trying to pound it as quickly as possible just so I can get an effect later on, and in that sense, I can really get behind something like that. But I think that comes with, just being interested in things. What I will say is, gosh, I don't know. This becomes so much more of like not necessarily booze news, but like philosophy corner.
Right.
What I will say is like, no joke. Anybody out there, like if you're feeling like you don't have a healthy relationship with alcohol, you know, it's very millennial sounding and frat boy logic sounding to be like, well, I'm just gonna cut back, or I'm just gonna go sober this 1 month. It's like, if you have a bad relationship with alcohol, like, please, like, you probably shouldn't be listening to this show. And this is the first time I'm saying this seriously. Like, if you have a bad relationship with alcohol, like, join a 12-step program, get sober and get some help. You know what I mean?
Stay sober.
Yes, and stay sober. Like, get sober and then stick with it to make sure that you don't fall back into those things. It's tough for me to ever say, like, if somebody is an alcoholic, for you to be like, it's okay. Every episode of The Real World, or every season of The Real World, has that one where it's like, oh no, bro, like last time I drank, I got into a fight, and it's like, then their friend goes, well, dude, I'll be there. If you drink too much, I'll let you know you should stop. Like, that's not how these things should work, So I don't know. I'm a big fan of mindfulness in general. I think that the great thing about beer and wine and delicious food and travel is that I think you're more in tune with these experiences around you, right? I guess my question for you, I guess I'll ask John first, is, have you ever had a dry January? Like, that wasn't court mandated?
Not required or voluntary. No. Our good friend Jim Myers likes to pretend he gives up beer for Lent, and that's good on you, Jim. It's a rough 40 days for everybody. But that's no. I read most of the article, and some of these people have a problem. Like the lady in first, she's in public relations and she's tired of waking up on a Saturday with a hangover. Well, I know you're in public relations, but you're an adult. You can choose not to drink when you're out. But there's a couple of social things going on here as well. In a group setting, people as a group don't trust the person who doesn't drink as much as they do others. It's been proven in group studies that if you're the one who's teetotaling that night, you will not be as trusted as much amongst a group of new acquaintances. Sorry, I had a little hiccup there. Other thing, these people are these dry Januaries. And my Sharon's got a sticker or a magnet on the refrigerator that says, rule number 1, if I eat like shit, I'll feel like shit. So it's not just alcohol that makes you feel crappy in January. It's all the other stuff you put in your body that isn't good for you between whatever Thursday Thanksgiving happens to fall on and getting through the holiday season, whatever holidays you tend to celebrate. So it's not just the alcohol. Of course, there tends to be a little bit more consumption of those things in at that time of year. So, but it's not just the alcohol that's making you feel like crap. Your liver's got to filter a whole bunch of other stuff like fat and everything else out of your system. The mindful part, I think most responsible drinkers, all responsible drinkers these days, are mindful about what they're drinking, because a lot of people drive and they don't want to drive drunk. They shouldn't drive drunk, number one. So, and you don't want to have to deal with the consequences of injuring or killing somebody, obviously, or getting caught by the law, which is very expensive. It can cost you your job, your family, everything else. So mindful in that regard has been something that's been going on for a long, long time. And the last point I'll say is, this other stuff. And how do you pronounce an umlaut? Suda Club Suda, New York City. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah, I saw that. I think it's just soda, but they're being hip.
If you have to go somewhere to meet with people and not in a non-drinking environment, folks, you need a hobby. I mean, get out of the house and do something else with your time besides going out and meet somebody for a drink. I mean, go for a walk, go take pictures of the mountains. I mean, the Catskills aren't that far away from New York City. They're beautiful. Take a walk in Central Park, rent a rowboat. I don't know, rent a bike, do something with your time other than hanging out with people where drinking becomes the normal activity. Develop yourself into a more rounded person.
But I mean, you're saying that, with some sarcasm and some snidliness to it. But, I think that's the point of it, right? Is like you were saying earlier, the teetotaler at the function is the least trusted person or whatever. And we all have had those relationships or those times in our lives where that was kind of what we did. It was like we went out for some drinks and we ended up with a group of friends that is what we did. And you may have people that are at a point where they're like, I don't want every occasion to be drinking. They may not necessarily be binging every time, but they're like, dude, like really, I want to go and hang out and not drink. And they're like, but all my friends drink. And that can be a tough situation. It honestly can be to go out with one, it cannot be nearly as much fun if you're going out with everybody and you're the only one not drinking. So I see the point of this, giving somebody the opportunity to say, I'm going to go meet some new people. It's specifically going to be a dry environment. And so, there's a part of me that gets behind that, I don't know why we have to label everything in our lives and why every single thing has to be a craze or, oh, now I'm a mindful drinker, as opposed to just like, I'm trying to go out and meet some new people to do new things. I don't know why we have to throw a god freaking label on it to say that's what this is now and that this is a new craze, as opposed to it's a new year and people are just trying to go find something else to do and meet new people. That's what it is. It's not mindfulness or something else. It's like you're going to a meetup to meet some people to try something new. Go have fun. Yay, you. So yeah, I say go for it if this is something that you're interested in. And the other side to it, I think you're right, Jeff. This is something that we do talk a lot about at the show, is you don't have to have the highest alcohol, or you don't have to have 7 of something. You can have a glass of something a night, and it can take you 20 minutes to drink that glass as you watch it develop and you watch it change, and you get to know that drink more, and get to know yourself a little more when you're doing it. And so we need to label that, and that's what we need to start calling it. And it needs to be apparently a new fucking health craze.
Well, yeah. I will say one thing,
Yeah.
because I love going to a rave as much as the next lunatic does. No, I will say this, like, if you're really into electronic dance music, I'd have to imagine that it's pretty annoying that, like, if you wanted to go out and experience, some shitty rave, that you also have to deal with like people drinking and doing drugs around you too. And like, I saw that there was like, sober raves that happened. And like, but like, honestly, like I can envision somebody being like, yeah, I'd kind of like to just go listen to the music and not deal with a bunch of jackasses, right? And like,
right.
growing up as in the punk rock scene of Santa Cruz, California, you know, there were a lot of shows that were all ages that didn't allow drugs or alcohol in there. So like as a 15, 16-year-old, I could go see one of my favorite bands and I didn't have to worry about, or my parents didn't have to worry about me being in, an unsafe environment, except for unsafe for my eardrums. You know, like I totally get that there is a need for those things, but I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, why do we need to label any of this stuff?
Right. It's
like
I don't need to, called growing up.
I don't need to conform to your ideas, man.
Yeah, man. It's adulting 102 or 201.
Is that the label for that class, Jeff?
I don't know. Oh, burn. You didn't get what I did there. So yeah, I mean, by all means, if this is something you're interested in, I say totally go check it out and do it and find those things in your life that you love. And if you need to remove alcohol, then remove alcohol. And if you don't, just moderation. Something I did not do last weekend when I had a few too many.
I think I saw those pictures, Jeff.
I think you did as well.
The avalanche, eh?
Yeah, man. All right. Good discussion, guys. It's been a while since we had one of those. All right. Let's get stupid. Hold on. Let me put my glasses on. Okay.
Dork.
Nerd. I'm gonna go find a group of people that are just getting used to reading glasses.
Yeah, we'll call it dorking. Mindful dorking.
Mindful dorking. Okay, so Manchester, over there in the UK. Jeff, do you want to throw an accent in there somewhere?
Hello, Manchester. All
right, so Marble Beers in Manchester. They've had a beer now for quite a few years called Pint. That's the name of the beer. It's Pint. Recently started canning their beer in 500 milliliter cans. So it's a 500 milliliter can. In big letters on the side, it says Pint. Okay. Now, unfortunately for them, that's 68 milliliters less than an actual full pint. So somebody saw this, and their name was Complainy, and their last name was Complainerson. But they reported this to the the trading standards. Oh, where is it? Oh, I lost it. Oh, darn. The trading standards, because it was a concern under the Consumer Protection from Unfair Trading Regulations from 2008 and the Weights and Measures Act of 1985. So all of that said that this was not a full pint. The name of it was Pint, and they had concerns. The leader of the trading standards had to go investigate this, apparently, and they made a recommendation to the brewery that they should change the name of their brew from Pint to something else. Maybe Pint minus 68. I don't know. So now the owner, I believe her name is Jan Rogers, came out and said, yep, I don't have time for this nonsense. We're going to change the name. So they're going through the process of rebranding their decade-old or more brew name from Pint to something else. Now, this is my favorite part of it. The brewery is also seeking clarity from the trading standards group on if they're allowed to sell their beer on draft in multiple measures, or if that is a violation as well. So can they pour a 12 ounce of pint? Can they pour a taster of pint? Or is that too confusing to people? And I guess the sad part is this literally all came about because one person complained.
Wow.
So I guess the message is if you want to make a change, just bitch about something. All right. So guys, thoughts on this, Jeff Solomon?
I have so many thoughts. And the first one is whoever came up with that name is a friggin' genius.
Right?
Genius.
Because
love it.
especially like in pub culture in the
Yeah.
UK,
Yeah.
you know, somebody walks
Yeah.
into a pub and they go, I'll have a pint.
Right?
And so
Genius.
if you're on draft there and that's the name of your beer, say no more, mate. Here's a pint, a pint.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And
Like,
if you're in a place and there's 30 beers and they're saying, give me a pint, done.
it's so awesome. And it just saves, like, you know, on all levels. I'm certain servers are like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, I don't even say anything else. I'm sure some people complain later on where it's like, well, I didn't want a pint of this. I wanted
I wanted some Newcastle.
I feel like, God, is it that difficult to get a 16-ounce aluminum can that you could put your beer into? Like, I think it's possible. I'm almost certain you could find those. Like, they exist, right?
Yeah,
So-
but it's the metric system
in the
it's
States.
UK,
Yeah,
so,
they're
you know, it's all
it's
messed
the UK.
up.
So
oh man.
yeah,
I mean,
I was thinking the same thing. They probably can't.
oh, we had to ship these we had to get these cans from America. Like, oh no. The other thing
Yeah,
I'm
we're-
thinking
we're-
about is, like, you know, if we're serving things that are not in a pint glass, I think that the way that you get around it is, you know, the name of the brewery is pint, and then it's like you can order a half pint, you could order a 3/4 pint, you could order a pint and a half. You know what I mean? And maybe that's the way that they get around it is, you know, don't call, you know, call it by the fraction of what it is.
Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait.
I don't
John,
know.
what do you think?
Well, first of all, I'm thinking, you know, although another brewery's already beat me to it, La Cumbra in Albuquerque, they have a beer called Beer. So if someone comes into Coconuts, hey, give me a beer. Like, all right,
Done.
you know, done. The other thing is, and the Brits think the same about Americans. They think we're very sophisticated. I thought Brits were more intelligent than this. So this is kind of discouraging to me that someone is that uptight about their beer.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
beer.
Here's my question: did Jim go to the UK? Because this is a Jim move right here. That's not a pint. You say it's a pint, but it's not a pint.
You should change the name of your beer to Shaker Pint.
Well, you know, do I sue this brewery because my beer doesn't taste like a donkey in a boat? I mean, I've never had the chance to have that soaked whale testicle beers to see if I need to sue them over something. So, you know, people get a sense of humor, for God's sake.
I mean, yes, there's a part of me that's like, to the person that raised this complaint, you're an asshat. You know, there's a part of me that has that, but there's a part of me too that I like to complain about stuff sometimes, but the person that does the receiving of that complaint is the one that's like, there's a point where you're like, no, I'm not going to follow up on this. No, it doesn't hold water. No, you know, that he has to go investigate it, and he's like, I'm sure he's like, well, I have to go try it, right? I mean, I gotta go experience the pint. A one complaint thing does not mean that your hands are tied and you have to go in and tell this place that you got to go change all this stuff because of this one complaint. I mean, that's the part where that person in the position of authority should have been like, I investigated and I found no cause to make them go do anything.
I think they missed a big public relations opportunity here. Because if it was the United States, when you can something, when you bottle something, you've got to go through all these hoops and register that product with the TTB and everything like that. So you could say in the United States, if there was a complaint about that, you'd say, look, the TTB approved it. And then those two would go back and forth. And then you could just build this whole public relations campaign around the fact that these two government agencies are fighting over your beer.
Yeah.
And John, you're alluding to what I was really thinking too, is like, I'd imagine that somewhere along the way, there's some sort of approval process. If I am going to can a beer for sale in the retail market, like, I'd imagine like boxes were checked. And so, I would sit there as like, if I'm a government stooge, I've got to tell you that as soon as that came across my desk, I'd be like, yeah, you can't put this out. Like, it says pint and it's not a pint. And it's not like I would be looking to complain about this if I saw it. But if that was my job, I'd go back to them and say, this is a problem because your product is named after a volume and it is not sold at the same volume that you're saying it is. Like, there is a problem there. I wouldn't complain, but if it was my job to approve things, like, how the hell did I miss that? Big letters, it says pint. 500 milliliters, good enough for the queen.
All right.
On another note.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was maybe misleading people because I complained that my Donkey in a Boat beer didn't taste like Donkey in a Boat, but I have to say it actually is pretty good.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it actually does taste like Donkey in a Boat.
No, it actually tastes pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Excellent. All right. Good discussions, guys. Now that we've gone around the world with news, it's time to find out what's going on back home with What's Up. So what do we have our eyes on, or what do we have coming up, John?
Well, if Carlford can get the burners working tomorrow, we're going to try to do a water test in the big system tomorrow or the next day. So yeah, we're going to boil some plain water and run it through some pipes. It's going to be fun.
Excellent. And find out how many places it's broken.
Well, tighten up things. Sure.
All right. Jeff Solomon.
I'd imagine if the test works out, it's going to be like, they're going to treat that water like champagne. Like, after they win the World Series, they'll just spray boiling water on each other, like, in celebration.
Maybe they can cheers it all and drink them out of some shambongs.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of shambongs, which we, originally received from our friend Nelly Perchatkin from Underground Cellar. If you go back,
I never got mine, Nelly.
Oh my goodness. What was that? Episode 98, 97, something like that?
More than a year ago.
97.
So if you go back and listen to that episode, we had quite a lively discussion about supermoons and their impact on wine, which by the way is 0.0. But I thought this was just a general story that I think would appeal to everybody. on the 31st of this month, January 31st, the morning of January 31st, those of us on the west coast of the United States, gentlemen, I think you're close enough to be able to catch some of this. When you wake up and you look out on the horizon to the moon that is setting, this is a 1 in 150 year event, ladies and gentlemen.
What?
It's a super blue blood moon eclipse.
No way.
Dude, check it
Like,
out.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
A blue moon is when there are 2 full moons in 1 month. And we had one on the 1st, and we're going to have one on the 31st, right?
Okay. Which really means absolutely nothing.
Supermoon means it's like top 4 brightest full moons of that year, so it doesn't really mean anything.
Okay.
Blood moon is is another name for a lunar eclipse.
Okay. All right, there we go.
Here's what's going to happen. As you look off into the horizon, you are going to see a slightly larger, slightly brighter, slightly red eclipsed moon
For the second time in a month.
No, you haven't seen this in 150 years, and you will not see another
the full moon for the second time in 1 month.
Yeah, but that's not the part that. Come on, blue moons happen every once in a blue moon.
But they all happen at the same time.
But that's the thing.
The lunatics are going to be going crazy.
That's what I'm saying. The blind lunatic is going to be out full force, man. It's going to be off the hinges. So when you wake up.
Jeff Solomon, I think you really, we need an article. We need a pairing article for what to pair with the super blue red blood moon.
I think that just makes it a purple moon, actually. But also, I did want to mention, totally caught off guard. I opened up a big old package from the mail the other day, and I got a podcast award, ladies and gentlemen. A podcast award.
Can you even lift that?
It's very heavy. The actual trophy is in my hands, but here's the crazy thing. I don't think I paid for 2. I mean, wait, we have to pay for these. Okay. They sent me 2. I got 2 podcast awards. I can tell everybody now I am a 2-time podcast award recipient.
You know, that looks good on you, Jeff. Holding up 2 podcast awards. That looks good on you.
We did it, Mom. We did
it. Did you skate it? Did you skate it around the living room? Holding it over your head.
Hold on, you need to drink from it.
Poured some beer in it and poured some beer down, let it roll off my chest.
You need to wear white gloves when you handle that.
This is awesome. This is so cool. It's going to be crustier than my shambong in about a month.
Ew, that's disgusting.
Yeah, too much information.
What?
All right, listeners. It's been fun the last few weeks not having a guest on the show, but man, we're itching to get some other vocals on the show. So next week, I'm super excited to kick the year off with our good friend and frequent guest, Miss Annie Wolf Pouch is going to be joining us next week from the Santa Cruz Booze Cruise.
Yeah. We're itching for some Wolf Pouch.
Yeah, man. She's got her new, who is it? Slow Boy? What's the name of it?
Yeah, we got Slow Boy. We got, I don't know what the actual, the big cruiser is. Betsy, something like that.
So she'll be on to tell us all about it in the new ride, and we're looking forward to that. And if we're talking about who's coming on the show next week, then Jeff's talking about making his awards all crusty.
You really do that.
Last call. Time to clean house and get Jeff out of here before he does something we don't want to see. So, folks, this is the time. We got to get through our steps. We already talked earlier about becoming a Patreon. We talked about leaving us reviews on the iTunes. On the Apple Podcasts. But we need the follows too. We need the social interaction. I've been a little dry on the socials. I'm getting back into it. But John Ruyak, if the folks want to find us on the Facebooks, where do they go?
Well, we like drinking.
That's right. Jeff Solomon, if they want to find us on the Instagrams, where do they go?
It's just We Like Drinking, man.
That's right. Well, it's We Like Drinking. It's not We Like Drinking, man.
We Like Drinking, men. Man.
Mon.
And if you guys want to find us on the Twitters, with the hashtag Pink Society and all those crazy folks that are out there, find us at We Like Drinking 1. That's the number 1. So it's been a lot of fun on the show tonight, guys. We really like to try to drive home the socials and the Facebooks and the Twitters and the reviews and the what's the other thing, and the Patreon. All that good stuff. So we like to do a little thing we call Wait, Who Subscribed, where I give these guys a quote and they try to tell me what it's from. All right. Super classic one. Super short. And I think super easy. Here we go. I got to get into character. Hold on. These pretzels are making me thirsty.
I know. Okay, I got it.
John, you gotta know this one.
Is it beer fest?
No, it's not beer fest. Jeff Solomon. Let's see if you know it.
No soup for you, John.
No soup for you, John.
It's Seinfeld. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Very well done. Great episode, Seinfeld. Check it out, John Ruyak. Check that stuff out.
You're crazy.
I've watched Seinfeld. I thought we were doing movie quotes. You're throwing curveballs.
You're insane. Am I? Or am I so sane that I just blew your mind?
You can also find the show notes for this episode with all the links to the stories or mentions we had at welikedrinking.com/podcast. All right, listeners. I think we went a little long tonight. If we did, sorry about that. So let's wrap it up. And I'll say, okay, panel, let's take one last trip around this table and get some final thoughts before we shut off the lights. John Ruyak.
If that rooster starts going at 3:00 in the morning, I think it's roast chicken for dinner tomorrow. Hello?
Let's do that again. John Ruyak.
If that freaking rooster starts going at 3:00 in the morning again tomorrow, it's going to be roast chicken for dinner.
See? There's another Seinfeld thing. You didn't even know it, and you did it. Jeff Solomon.
Why
Kenny
is it
Rogers roast chicken?
The only Seinfeld thing that's jumping into my mind now is, it's not fair. I had shrinkage.
All right. And I'll just say, prepare yourselves for the supermoon. And with that, we'll say thanks again for joining us at the We Like Drinking podcast.